Everyone, and thanks for being here today. I want to extend a special welcome to all of our distinguished speakers. So first, the Honorable Edwin Ma Lee, Mayor of San Francisco. San Francisco, thank you. San Francisco Board of Supervisor President David CHIU. San Francisco Port Executive Director MONIQUE MOYER. And Autodesk President and CEO Carl Bass, who's a tall guy in the back there. I'm sorry? And Supervisor Kim is, there she is right there. Thank you. All right, so the building you're standing in was built in 1938 as a transit shed, and over the years it's been used for many things by many different types of folks. Today we are super proud to be having our formal ribbon cutting for the Autodesk shop. So some of you have already had a tour, others will be extending tours afterwards. You'll be able to see all of the wonderful things that are here. A little bit about some of the things we did in developing the space. So it was very important to us that we used green building design standards. So there's in all of our construction of the project, and so many of the things, the lighting, for example, the HVAC, the heating and cooling systems, all done with LEED compliant standards. And then in the near future, we're going to be putting solar cells on the roof, and we will be generating as much as 75% of the power required, of our power requirements here. So very green approach to the space. So this is the home of Autodesk's Consumer Products Group. I'm headed up by Samir Hanna, who's standing over here, as well as one of our more advanced research groups, that's doing bio and nano research. And so we can talk a little bit more about that. So I think without further ado, it's my great pleasure to introduce Autodesk's president, CEO, and chief maker. Carl was instrumental in helping us select and choose the equipment that's here at the shop. And I can assure you that Carl is quite capable of operating everything in this shop. So without further ado, Carl.
Good morning, everybody, and thanks for being here. It is a real pleasure to be able to stand here and be able to open up the facility. One of the things as I look around the crowd, I see many, many people who are instrumental in helping this project come to fruition. As many of you know, building a project of this complexity, it is not a typical building, it is not a typical use, it is not a typical site, and we work closely with many of the people here, both on architecture, construction, people in the city government, people with the port. Everybody was wonderful. It was a great project. I mean, it's amazing that it seems like only a handful of months ago, this whole thing was just an idea. And what at the time seemed like a really crazy idea. And now as it comes through, it's already, people have peeked in and seen it. And it is the envy of everybody's workshop. So people are thrilled with what we've been able to build here. We're really excited about it. One, for what Autodesk is going to do with it in terms of using it for developing our software. So groups that are here include our Instructables group, which is not only about making but distributing the ideas about how stuff gets made to as many people in the world as possible. The 123D group, which is interested in making software to help people use these tools to make what they want to make. But also our advanced research group in synthetic biology and nanotech. And so we have an advanced group here looking at what the future of manufacturing is. And so we're really happy to participate. It's my pleasure to be here on this opening, and I really do want to thank everybody. There are so many people who contributed to making this as successful as it is. I'll just tell you a couple stories. There's nothing more fun. I've been in there, many of you seen, I've been working on a go-kart. I've been trying out the equipment. Technically, I've been calibrating some machines. I've been busy calibrating for a while. But there's nothing more fun than calibrating when the visitors to San Francisco, the tourists who are at the Exploratorium, come walking down the middle of Pier and come looking in and get to watch you actually use this equipment to make stuff. And they're just so curious about what it is. And it's really a great location in being not only in the center of a great city, but a complement to the Exploratorium. You know, in some ways you look at what the Exploratorium is doing as a basic science museum and a hands-on place. And this is really the next step. How do we take science and turn it into practical things that we use every day in our life? So I just want to thank everybody who contributed to making this project such a great success. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much, Carl. Mayor Lee, invite you up next.
Wow. Well, first of all, Chris and Carl, congratulations to you and Autodesk. Those of you who don't know, I managed every 4 months, I think, to get in touch with Carl, goes, what else is going on? And usually it's been about the office expansion at One Market and how his staff is expanding. And, you know, that's invaluable to our own tech industry, the innovation capital that our city is proud to be, that Autodesk is right here with a lot of its innovation. And when you go and see the museum, and you'll realize that there's kind of a new history being developed here. Some years ago, when I was Public Works Director, the engineers and the architects in my office came up to me and go, Mayor, you got to understand CAD. I said, what are you talking about, CAD? Well, computer-assisted design. Of course, they used to come into the room with volumes of rolled-up scripts and show me the latest renditions of what we had to do on a bridge or on a roadway. Now it's everything's on computer, and we have to get behind this. This is the new training we have to do. And then fast forward, you go to the laboratory sites in Mission Bay, and you start looking at what the R&D divisions of our bio-life sciences are doing, and all of a sudden you start seeing our own cells in 3D and how the medical discoveries are being had with the 3D ability. And you go from people who have designed the Bay Bridge with CAD assistance, with the Golden Gate Bridge, and you realize this technology is now infiltrating everything that we do and what we want to do in the future with cell structures and assisting doctors and researchers discover how to look at cells differently so that they can get to the solutions of the big diseases in our time. Well, now you got this space, and I just walking through here with Supervisor CHIU and Supervisor Kim, we're calibrating ourselves what the heck to do, because there's so much that can be done. And you know, I can talk about it on and on, but I have to suggest to you that this is the beginning of redefining manufacturing, what we've all thought manufacturing was all about. There's a redefinition going on with both the machinery, the way this 3D ability and looking at things in a digital way, and then redesigning these machines and making them available to interns and students down here, along with the connection to the Exploratorium. This is what the ports always wanted to do, was get innovation at our waterfront and exhibit it. For years, Monique and I have tried to figure out how do we get our waterfront to be that much more inviting, and it's been hard. You got to invest a lot of money and resources here, and now I think we know the reason why. And the reason why you take these iconic views here, you match them with the innovative spirit that we have in the city and that we have on staff at Autodesk, you realize people inventing things here are going to be incredible. And Autodesk is right there, right in the thick of this innovative spirit, because you're looking at a company that's created this Instructables website to teach people how to make things on their own, how to use tools like this. One of their staff, I think Noah, is got his own website on there to teach people how to kiss. Of course, induced Supervisor CHIU and Supervisor Kim, being unmarried individuals on our board, to go directly to that website and be so instructed. But that's just one of thousands of instructions that go on with new tools, and that's going to be so inventive. I talked to Carl just a few minutes ago about my introduction of tablets into our middle schools. And he's offered, and I'm excited about following up on this, is that our kids might get the applications for 3D to be presented to them in their infant stages. It's an incredible part of our education. Fast forward, not only are these machines, these tools, they're going to be used here, exposing people to new way of manufacturing and making things, going to be another added thing to the makers movement that we are wanting to converse in San Francisco. We need to make more things and allow the world to do it. Well, we need to do it in the modern way. It isn't just having the wood shops and metal shops. It's about connecting them to the data tools that we have and exposing them to the 3D abilities to do that. That manufacturing, that ability to manufacture onshore, will, I think, be introduced right here in San Francisco because of this incredible presence and what they're trying to do here. They also have a bioprinting. Now, that's a new term. What is bioprinting all about? Well, I don't know if this is the appropriate analogy, but some of the people from my hometown in Seattle want to give me a bet on the Niners and the Seahawks game coming up in Seattle. Some of them have suggested that I do the Kaepernick-Wilson thing about shaving off my mustache. They're doing the eyebrows. And what they don't know is, if I do shave off my mustache, I don't expect to because we'll win. If I do that bet, I'll have bioprinting to be able to help me restore that very quickly. So maybe I've got a tool that I'll be able to do it instantaneously. But I think that bioprinting is going to be extremely transformative to all of the life science work that we're doing. This is serious work too, along with the playful, the educational introduction. I think we're on the verge of a big, huge transformation of how we think about doing things. Just like when the engineers came to my office and said, we're no longer going to put things on paper in a 1 or 2 dimensional way. It's going to be 3-dimensional. You're going to be able to look at things in a very different way. And that's going to help everybody that's wanted to solve problems in the world. It's going to just give that added dimension. And that dimension is absolutely critical to fast-forwarding solutions to the world or to creating a new economy that I think this is going to be here. So you can obviously feel the excitement that I have. It's like a kid walking into a candy store that's being offered all these things and thinking and calibrating what we can do as a city to support this explosion, I think, that will go on. It's happening right here. It's happening on our waterfront. It's happening in a city that I think we confidently call the innovation capital of the world for this very good reason. Congratulations, Carl and your wonderful staff, being here, introducing us to a new version and a new dimension of the makers movement, manufacturing. I'm proud of the city, but I'm proud of the people here, because it begins with people's thoughts and how they can improve on the way we do things and then improve people's lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and we certainly have appreciated your support throughout the project. It's been wonderful. Another gentleman who's been extremely supportive and very helpful throughout this entire process has been Supervisor CHIU, and it is my great pleasure to introduce him to come up and make a few remarks. Thank you, sir.
So let me first start off by saying that Jane Kim and I are still reacting to the mayor's instructable comment. We've decided that we need an instructable to teach mayors how to shave off those mustaches. As the district supervisor that represents these neighborhoods, I first want to welcome our newest neighbor, Autodesk, here. We're also excited. I know all of our residents are very excited to partner with you. And Supervisor Kim reminded me that you have also been extending your generosity as a neighbor in helping to support programs like Europe job training for our local residents to make sure that everyone can be part of our technology boom that we are seeing right now. It was an honor for me to carry the legislative approvals to move all of you here. I want to thank Supervisor Kim for her co-sponsorship of that. And I'm really excited for 3 reasons. First and foremost, 14 years ago, I started a software company that I ran for 9 years. And as Mayor Lee and Jane and others know, for many, many years, I had always thought that our city, we're so close to Silicon Valley. We're so close to the heart of where innovation happens. But we all wondered, why wasn't more of that happening here in our city? And it's been great in the last couple of years to be part of helping to drive that change. And I view your move as a real capper, really epitomizing what this is about. Secondly, I want to talk a moment about how we are transforming our 21st century waterfront. It was just a few years ago that MONIQUE, MOYER, and I and others were talking about all our piers that were literally crumbling into the sea. And whether it be the new cruise ship terminal at Pier 27, whether it be the new Exploratorium with the ferry building, what we're doing here in Pier 9 is just part of transforming our waterfront that has been around for over a century, and transforming it in a way that is truly beautiful and part of the environment and part of the bay, and really respectful of what we are doing as we bring land to the sea. The last thing I want to say, I'm really excited about all of you being here because of all the stuff, cool things that you're making. I also feel like a little bit like the kid in the candy shop. I have 2 more things I'd like to ask Autodesk to make. First, many of us who are elected officials, we have to show up at a lot of things all the time, so I'd like you to clone elected officials so we don't have to do that all the time. And then the last thing I want to ask you to make, hopefully you'll probably need a bigger 3D printer machine to do this, maybe muni buses that don't break down. So work with us on that. Thank you for being here. Welcome.
Yeah, we need a big printer for that. All right, and last but certainly not least, the Executive Director of the San Francisco Port, Monique Moyer.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Monique Moyer, and on behalf of all of the Port staff and the Port Commissioners, it is really an honor to have all of you here at Pier 9. The Port is celebrating its 150th birthday this year, and the whole reason the Port was even founded by the state of California very quickly after the state joined the union was to do something rather monumental at the time, which was to build our seawall. And from the seawall, of course, I don't know how many of you know where land really is, but just to orient you, land is at the Omni Hotel at Montgomery in California. So everything between there and here is resting on this seawall. And it strikes me how cool it is to now, 150 years later, be welcoming Autodesk, known for their innovation, to a place that started as innovation. The seawall was designed on a design competition. The very first segment of the seawall was awarded to a gentleman who presented the best design. Doesn't that give you confidence in how it's doing? And there were 12 city engineers over time who built the seawall, which has now been in the water in our Great Bay, maggots, mites, and all, for 150 years. And so it's fantastic. I can't imagine what they would have thought if they could have had you to help them figure out what that seawall should look like, what the materials could be, and how much longer it might even last. So we're so pleased to have you. Pier 9 has long been our little secret. It's great to see all the Pier 9 tenants here today. Thank you all for your patience as we have been renovating not just Pier 9, but the piers around you. And it's now sounds like it's not a secret anymore as people are wandering in. But it's an important place for us. It's a place where we can marry innovation with historic preservation, with our historic roots, have nonprofit entities working side by side with for-profit entities and doing fabulous work, each and every one of them, have a fairly new company as Autodesk working side by side with the bar pilots, which are over 150 years old themselves, and just have you be part of our Port family of more than 500 tenants. You've joined a terrific area of our city. We're so glad to have you, and we hope as it does for all of us, that being at the Bay inspires you every day, because we're going to need your help on sea level rise coming up. So thank you for coming down here. Welcome to all of the Autodesk staff. It's great seeing you along the waterfront, and this is the best place in the city to get food, so I hope you are availing yourself of all the fabulous choices. And my special thanks to the port staff, led by Jeff Bauer and Mark Lozovoy and many others, and to Premier Structures, and of course to the Autodesk gentlemen, Joe Chan and Roger Van Overbeck. Thank you all very much, and welcome to our waterfront.
Okay, so now we have the more formal part of the ceremony. Carl, we need to have you come back up, and all our speakers. We're going to ask you guys to go outside. All of you are going to be able to view through the window the formal ribbon grinding ceremony. So we're going to take this podium down.
Hold on up here. Push this in. Got it. Good.
How could it go wrong?
Yeah. If you guys want to hold on to the sides of the ribbon.